everyone, welcome to this review of Princess Mononoke, a Ghibli film made in 1997.
Yes.
We are Baka-Talk doing the next episode of Baka Reviews. Hopefully you enjoy, and let's dig on in. So, what's the overall plot of the film? Wheeze, you were going over it pretty well just a minute ago.
Okay, to start out, we have the super main character who's a prince in this one far off, little village place, and a god that was possessed by a demon.
A boar god.
Boar god possessed by a demon runs into the village. He kills it because he's like main character superhero video game protagonist.
Yeah.
And then he gets cursed by the possessed boar. So with a curse, he's told the only way that he's gonna die, the only way they know to get rid of it is maybe a god can help him. So he has to go venture and find maybe a god. I don't know if they mentioned the deer god specifically, but that's basically the only person that can heal him.
They said basically only the gods could intervene at
Yeah.
that point. The gods
And they
were
might
the only
be
one.
able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes searching for areas where there would be a god to save him.
Yeah.
On his journey, he comes across a town, talks to a priest,
A monk.
monk guy who tells him about this area where there is known to be gods and stuff. Because there's a village of
Iron workers,
workers.
basically.
Yeah, in this one city, and they've been fighting off against nature, these gods from nature that have been attacking them. So he goes there. On the way, there is a battle between some wolves of the forest and the iron workers, and some of the soldiers in the iron worker people get thrown down the mountain where he is journeying. So he saves them. He also sees the wolves, which is two wolves and Princess Mononoke, who sucks up the blood of one of the wolves out of their wound, which was kind of disturbing. On the way there, he also killed samurai. They're kind of in the background of the movie also. They're also fighting against the ironworks people because they want taxes, I guess.
No,
They just want the iron.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want the iron so that they can claim it and give it to the Emperor of Japan.
Yeah.
So anyways, he journeys to the ironworks city,
Iron Town.
and because he brings back two of the people that were injured, he's kind of more welcomed into their midst, and he hangs out with the leader, who is Lady what's her name?
Iboshi.
Lady Iboshi. She kind of, at the beginning of the movie, he is when he kills the god, he apologizes to it, and their village is very respectful.
Right.
Iboshi is I want to rule the world, and I will kill anyone and anything to get that. So she seems kind of bad at first, but she does show him this place where other people that have been cursed by gods, because they've also killed some of the gods and stuff, and they cursed some of these people, and they were dying, and she was taking care of them through their battles that they've had. And they've been working on new guns that are lighter and easier to fire.
Actually,
So
I think she just flat out invented the gun
Yeah.
in this, because this is 14th century Japan.
yeah. So
This
with
is-
her advanced technology, she plans to take over the world, make a better, peaceful place, I guess, for her people. Anyways, and the village is all kind of full of outcasts. So they're fighting against the samurai and the forest.
They're just fighting against everything and anybody, really.
Yeah.
They'd kill
It
the
is-
spirits, the gods, the demons, the samurai.
It is a literal case of the outcasts just fighting the world.
Yeah.
So another thing to mention is that the main character was poisoned in his arm, and his arm kind of gave him super demon powers, because
Well, mainly
it's
just
kinda
superhuman strength.
yeah, it's it's kind of like a curse that's gonna kill him, but it's also kind of like possessing him, where it gives him extra power.
Right.
Where when he fights the samurai earlier in the story, his like arm gets so strong that he shoots their heads off with the arrow, which is pretty insane, and their arms. So it's a pretty intense, like, super strength thing that he has. Anyways, he is being shown these things, and then the wolves attack again, and they attack the city, and Princess Mononoke gets thrown into the city, and she goes to kill Lady Eboshi, who they have this feud because they've been fighting for a while, and she's been trying to like destroy the forest and use it for her stuff and whatever. And also Lady Eboshi's goal is to kill the gods, like just everyone in the forest, basically. So Princess Mononoke attacks, and they're fighting within like she runs around and they chase after her, and the main character is trying to like stop this whole fight because he doesn't see why they can't live peacefully together.
Right. His whole goal is just to have everybody basically live together and not fight each other.
So they're like fighting in this like circle of soldiers around him, and he just goes, this is stupid, and runs through the crowd, throws everyone aside, grabs the two fighters who are like the best fighters like in this area, assuming, are like going at it, and he just walks up and gut punches both of them.
Yeah, that was pretty
just
great.
hands off Eboshi to her people, takes Mononoke, and just walks out the front gate. And they're like,
Also, after being shot.
yeah, after being shot, he just walks straight out, and they're like, no, don't go or we'll shoot you. And he just like keeps walking. They shoot him through the chest.
By
and
accident,
he just
mind you.
keeps walking. He doesn't even flinch. What
Well,
a
the only
champ.
reason he can do this is because of the curse.
Yeah. But I mean, it did shoot him like it was pretty intense. So
Yeah.
anyways, he walks up to the gate, and they're like, we can't open the gate for you. There's like, it usually takes like 10 men to like pull it open. And he just uses his hand and just like his possessed hand and just opens it up, closes it, walks out to the wolves, and brings Mononoke back. Then he joins the wolves' side for a while, and he hangs out with them, and she tries to kill him. There's also the monkeys, which is kind of a random, or the apes was kind of like a thing that another group in the background that threw sticks at them and stuff. But anyways, he joins their group, and then he follows into the forest, and he is brought to the Mononoke starts to like trust him a little bit more. He's brought to initially she tries to kill him. He is brought to the forest god, the elk god or whatever it is.
Dear God.
Yeah, the deer god. Brings him to the deer god. This is what he assumes is like the only way that he could be cured from the curse.
Right.
And the deer god only saves him from dying, but does not cure him from the curse yet. So then he's hanging out on that side for a while, and then they're like, they're gonna kill us all because they have these good weapons, and the boars are like, the rest of the boars that, one of the boars that went off, he killed when it became cursed. The other groups of boars there's still another group of boars in the forest, and they're all like, we're just gonna do one last stand. That the animals can talk. We're gonna do one last stand, attack the village,
The town.
yeah,
Iron Town.
and then they're gonna remember us because we're gonna die either way. So there's like some politics and stuff going on within the forest too. They do this epic attack. He kind of, I don't remember what he does. What happens to him? I don't remember what happens to him. I remember what's her name? Princess Mononoke attacks with the boars, and the wolves join.
Yep.
What did he do? I forgot
What?
what he did.
The main character?
Yeah.
Oh, he
started to leave.
he left, but then saw the attack.
Right.
So
I
he
think-
was banished by the wolf
Oh,
god.
he was injured and stuff too. So I think they left him and just attacked.
No,
And then didn't he,
he-
like,
After
wake
he
up?
healed up, he was at the wolves' den, and then he went and talked to Moro, who was the wolf god, and she told him, "You leave at dawn, or else I'll kill you."
Yeah,
Oh,
basically
okay.
brought him back to the path to Irontown.
Mhm.
He goes to Irontown, finds out the samurai are attacking Irontown.
Right.
While all the men from Irontown are out trying to fight the boars.
Yes.
So all the
that's right.
women in Irontown are defending it. They ask him, Ashitaka,
Yeah.
to go to the lady Imobi,
Iboshi.
Iboshi,
And let
to
her-
give her word that they're being attacked. So he
Right.
goes, finds the devastation of the boars, figured out that the other boar god, what's his name, Osako,
Okoto.
Okoto, the blind boar god, has all the boars have been basically wiped out besides for Okoto. He's heavily injured and is basically bleeding to death. He's blind.
Yes.
And being followed by these hunters sent from the Emperor of
Right,
Japan.
that are covered in the dead boar skins.
And then Mononoke is leading him to get healed, hopefully by the
The
the,
tree spirit,
the
forest spirit.
deer god. Yeah.
Yeah, the deer god.
So on the way, he starts to become possessed by demon like evilness, and then Princess Mononoke gets kind of trapped in that.
The boar god does.
Yeah.
The boar god becomes raged because he realizes that all of his boar, buddies are dead and they're just humans. And then he turns into a demon. They all end up into the the forest spirit realm.
Place
There's
for the deer god.
there's
yeah.
this giant cave with waters and stuff. And they all end up there. Eboshi's there. The hunters are there that are trying to get the spirit guy's head. The boar god's there.
Yeah.
That's now a demon. The wolf is there.
They were
Everybody's there.
they were tracking them. They were tracking Mononoke and the boar because they knew they were heading towards the deer god. Who
Right.
They wanted to kill.
So everything happens. The deer god, a bunch of things happen. Eboshi gets her arm bitten off by the wolf
Yep.
god, which is the last thing the wolf god does before saving Mononoke. And then after that, the deer god gets its head blown off by a gun.
Well, first the deer god goes to the boar,
Yeah.
and they ask the deer for life, but the
Mhm.
deer also sometimes gives death, and he gives death to both the wolf and the boar.
Right.
Yes, because
So-
they've both been injured.
Yeah, so
And
both
then-
of them die. They don't get saved, and then it goes to turn into a spirit because it does that every night. And as it's doing that, she shoots its head off.
Right.
Lady Iboshi shoots his head off.
And then the spirit becomes mad and basically starts spewing this goop all over the place that as soon as it touches anything, it dies.
Cue Evangelion.
It's just Evangelion from here. Honestly, I was thinking that the whole time.
just mech flies in and starts beating it up.
After that, there's this big thing because the hunter, the priest turns out to be Hunter, took the head because that's what they wanted. They're running away from it
Yeah, I think they're trying to give the head to the samurai,
to the emperor.
to the emperor to get the samurai off their back. I
No,
think-
it was the
wasn't that the
Emperor
goal?
wanted immortality.
Yeah.
And he believed that by getting the head of a god that he could achieve immortality.
Right.
So he
Oh,
hired
okay.
this monk
And this
and his
guy,
huntsman.
yeah, this guy's just like a bounty hunter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all that's happening. They're running away with the head while the evil spirit is marching over everything, just like Evangelion giant angel style. And a bunch of things happen. Irontown ends up getting destroyed by the evil spirit because it gets caught on
Yeah.
fire. And at the end of it, the spirit gets its head back because Mononoke and Ashikata, what is his name?
Ashitaka.
Ashitaka.
They catch up to the monk guy. They force him to take the head out of the container, and he's like, "Here you go, God. Take your head back, and please don't hurt us anymore. We're sorry."
The god ends up dying anyways.
Yes, the
right
god
after turning into the forest
He's
spirit again.
dead either way.
But then, again, Evangelion style, his literal essence is spread throughout the forest, and it starts to regrow again.
Yes.
Yeah, it restores all the damage that it did.
So where the city had been is now just like covered in grass.
It's just basically another mountain.
Yeah.
After that, Imboshi promises to rebuild the town, but as a better town because she's learned her lesson.
Yep.
No more strip
Um,
mining.
Yeah.
Ashikata, I'm gonna say that name
Ashitaka?
wrong every single
Ashitaka.
time. Ashitaka promises to help rebuild the town. Mononoke still hates humans. Is just like, I like Ashitaka, but I hate everybody else. So I'm gonna live in the forest.
She
With
does
the
say she
wolves.
loves Ashitaka, at
Yeah.
least in the subtitles.
Okay. And they promise to see each other whenever they can, and then it just ends with a Kodami shaking his head.
Yeah, because they all died when
The forest.
forest god
yeah.
died, so it kind of shows that it's kind of going back to normal again.
Well, yeah, because Ashitaka, when he finds like those soldiers like way back, or the workers along the river and saves them, like he sees all these little spirit things and
They're
these
called Kodama.
okidoma, okidoki, or whatever. And it basically, however many of them, denotes that like the forest is alive and well, and
Yeah.
it's healthy.
Yep.
And when the deer god turns into like the death spirit, it like they all die.
Yeah,
Just all of them die.
so it's showing they're like coming back, and the forest is getting healthy again. And after it ended, I said, "That's why there are still trees in Japan to this day."
Anyways, that's the synopsis. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess let's go into overall thoughts. Ramen Cat? What did you think of the movie?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
love the fact of just I thought it was well paced. It was a long movie, but it was like every bit of it made sense.
Yeah, I didn't feel
Yeah.
like it had too much of that.
It didn't have filler.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like it had filler. I almost wish it had filler more in certain spots. But-
I can say the movie like honestly kind of made me feel a little weird because I felt conflicted for like every character
Yeah.
because everyone was good in their own way and bad in their own
Yeah.
way. Which was kind of neat because it's like it kind of gives a dynamic of like nature to every character because nature like can be really bad with devastation. It can be really good.
Yeah. Right.
So I thought that was interesting and just I don't know, I just really enjoyed all the characters. All the characters were really good and
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of a bittersweet movie, I guess, at the end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it's like, hey, everything sorted itself out. Oh, okay. Like no one's happy.
Yeah. Nothing.
Not
A bunch of things happened,
About-
but at the end, it felt like nothing really changed.
about the only thing that was like a happy. Excuse me. Happy thing was Ashitaka's curse went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
forgot to
yay,
mention
he
that.
lives.
Yeah, at the end, he does get his curse restored. Like, he gets restored after the god, like, explodes into greenery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. As far like it was a good fantasy movie. Like I've been wanting a good just kind of fantasy or supernatural movie that isn't just like a pre-existing IP adaptation
Right.
of
Yeah.
a long string of stuff. You know.
Yep. And this definitely felt like a breath of fresh air. Like even compared to other Ghibli films that we've seen, this is our
Like,
fourth.
because most Ghibli movies are and it's like I love like all the movies that we've watched so far, but they always go for that kind of cutesy feel good.
Yeah, this one definitely felt more grounded and like it felt realistic.
Yeah.
Like it
Mhm.
was very fantasy with the gods and demons and like most of like early history stuff they changed to be more fantasy like than realistic,
Yeah.
but it felt grounded. I
I
like that.
did like the way that they kind of paced out the world.
Yeah.
And the fact of this was like at a time where in like Japan where people were isolated, like there was hubs of civilization, but they were so far and few between each other that they were just kind of locked off away from one another. Like this was kind of like Japan's like medieval era.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like that was kind of a cool twist because most of the time you see in like anime and stuff, you see like the furthest back like Edo period, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
height of the empire.
Yeah, it was interesting to see it more back in its. Well, this would be considered like before feudal, right?
Yeah, this was, I forgot what they called it, what era it was, but it's like 14th, 15th century, they said.
This said 14th century.
Yeah, it's set really old.
The Muromachi period of Japan, approximately 1336 to 1573 CE.
Okay.
What does CE stand for in Japan?
I don't know if it's
There.
necessarily Japan. I think it's Sirican timeline.
I don't know what Sirican is.
I don't remember what it means, but yeah, it's just
old.
It was an interesting time frame. I liked it. It was a nice change because it's like you knew there was people around because you see like Ashitaka go through like the village being attacked,
Yeah.
and you see that there's samurai attacking. You see him go through like the little market village.
Yep.
But once he gets to Irontown, it's like there's nothing from beyond.
Right.
It's just the samurai that want to steal the iron and take it back to the emperor, who you only hear about.
Yeah.
It was like I thought that was kind of cool. Like it felt kind of isolated, but yet it's not.
It was interesting to hear that like the emperor was wanting a bunch of things, but like there wasn't like emperor guards. There wasn't like emperor soldiers. It
No,
was just...
at most it was the monk that worked for the emperor, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I sent for some riflemen."
Yeah, right. So that was definitely interesting. It was cool too. It was a cool aspect of the film that everything did feel very isolated.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like a lonely, isolated. It's like everything mattered type thing.
Right.
And that was the nice thing too. Just everything did matter in some way or another in the movie.
Yeah, even like the main character's village was like super isolated. Like nobody had heard of it.
They were like the remnant of like a tribe that had been wiped out 100 years before.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Oh yeah, they were all like banished and stuff. That's why.
Yeah,
they were,
'cause
like,
the
It was a
monk-
banished tribe, which is why they
Yeah.
had like weird they had like weird rights. So like if somebody left the village, they had to be considered like dead to the village.
yeah.
And they couldn't actually talk about like where they came from, which is why
He got banished.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Oh, no, it was interesting because like the monk, when him and the monk like first meet each other and they're camping out in the woods, he's like, "Yeah, I haven't heard about like riders on red elk. I thought they were all gone for 100 years."
Right.
And it's just
Which is funny that nobody else decided to ride red elk in 100 years. But that's just kind of that fantasy aspect of only these people ride on red elks, of course.
But it was still with the Studio Ghibli stuff. Like every area had like its kind of cozy feeling.
Yeah.
Irontown felt like it's like it's a bunch of outcasts, but it's like they still take you in. It's still comfortable.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just a little it's a little
yeah.
shady, but
Yeah.
it's not like someone's gonna shiv you in the back type shady.
Right.
Yeah.
The forest was all like really cozy and welcoming looking. I mean, just like nature is until it's brutal.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. I liked everything about it.
It was, yeah, I agree with all that. There's not really much to complain about with the film. There's like everything that you said that was good about it, I completely agree with. I don't really have much to add to it, actually.
I guess the reason I like it so much is, I don't know, kind of a weird little way. I kind of related to kind of the theme of it because, I don't know. I remember growing up, like the place that I grew up used to be like lush fields and trees and stuff. And then when we decided to farm everything, like my family just basically obliterated everything.
Oh,
Our like nice swamp, like it was a nice pretty swamp with like birds and stuff. Now it's just pretty much a dead pond.
yeah.
The woods I grew up in, it's like there's so many paths carved through for tractors, like all the fields
Right.
are tilled under.
Yeah.
So it's like after watching it, I was like, oh, that's something I didn't want to remember. So it's like, I guess in a way it kind of hit a soft spot.
Well, I think it's very much to put a message out about environmentalism, like how there's a right way and there's a wrong way to deal with the environment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well, like Ashitaka's village, they got, from the looks of it, just like they got what they needed. They did everything they needed to do, but
Yep.
they were respectful of how
Right.
they did it. They didn't just like do like Irontown and just obliterate the mountainside.
Right.
Yeah.
Irontown was doing fine, but then they wanted even more iron. So they're like, we're just gonna level this mountain.
Yeah.
And then they got to the point of her having like a specific agenda against like
The
gods
forest.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where she just wanted to kill them, which is like not just like doing something because you have to, but like specifically antagonizing the forest because
You
you
know,
just hate them, I guess.
Lady Eboshi was probably, I would say in the whole thing, probably to me one of the most dynamic characters.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I want to kill off the gods. I want to just get all the iron, make the emperor, be like, this is his number one town type thing, so I can do what I want. And then at the same time, she's like this caring, nurturing character that's like, yeah, I took in prostitutes so that they don't have to be. They can actually make something of themselves.
Yeah.
I took in scoundrels and bandits and stuff so that they can make it. I have lepers. People who literally have a disease that people will cast them out from society, and I give them a home.
Right.
It's like, I didn't like her up until that point. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's actually trying to help people.
Well, it's like she was trying to help people in not every single wrong, but the one wrong way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like she had a good intention at first because she knew, for some reason, she knew about ore, how to create it. She had the ingenuity to make guns, and
Well, yeah, she was an inventor
Yeah.
basically.
either that or she
She probably
teamed up-
learned it from the being the emperor's teachers or something.
I don't know, maybe something, but and then she just got to really just came to greed and rage.
Yeah.
That was kind of the moral of the story.
yeah,
is just rage can
Yeah.
cloud people's sight.
I think that was the main thing. She just came to really hate like San, who's Mononoke, and same for her. Like she hated her
Yeah.
rather than just trying to be like, hey, take your iron, leave everything else, and
Right.
we'll leave you alone.
Mhm.
It was just a constant
Right. Which
back and forth.
I like that one quote from the. Did they call her a witch doctor or spirit doctor? The town that Ashitaka is from. Their leader.
Oh, the old lady.
the old lady.
Oh yeah.
When Ashitaka asks what his destiny is, and they find out that he's gonna die, but she's like, "Well, there's a way that might intervene, but you have to go to this foreign land."
Mhm.
And she's like, obviously there's spirits of rage and anger happening there, which is why the boar came to them
Yeah.
with rage, because there's a bullet in him, right? That
Yeah.
made him angry and turned him into a demon. And she's like, well, with your sight unclouded by rage, you might be able to help yourself.
Yeah,
That was a cool quote.
Because Ashitaka is very character is very he wasn't the atypical, oh, I have all my stuff together so I'm perfect. He was I'm just at peace with the situation. I don't want to die, but if
Yeah.
I die, I die.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of cool because he did kind of have that air of like he was a prince, and it's like the way his character was very much, he was raised to be that way, to
Yeah.
conduct
Yeah.
himself.
He also had the outside perspective of they're like, we're fighting for this, we're fighting for this. It's like, can't you don't have to.
Yeah. Can you guys not?
like-
Because I mean, you kind of disrupted my whole life I
And
had
it's-
going on.
It's kind of an interesting thing of part of Lady Eboshi's character is that, and Mononoke, of that they felt like they had to be in this fight. And he kind of sees it from an outside perspective where it's just like, you're so clouded, you're so stuck on what you think is the situation, but it's really not. Like, you're lying to yourself about what's going on.
Oh yeah,
Where you could totally coexist peacefully. Like, there's nothing that's like making you fight like
and
this.
and
Yeah.
that message kind of played over into like the spirits, because it's like for as little time as they were in there, like the ape tribe, they kept trying to replant trees. Lady Eboshi would like shoot at them and drive them back. But as Ashitaka was like, you can keep trying. Eventually, you will
Yeah.
get it. You will overcome it. Like,
Mhm.
or figure out how to get around. And they're just like, no, it's going to be war. And then it's like the Boers are just, oh, we only need to fight. We need to fight. We need to fight.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like that was their downfall. Rather than try to figure something out,
Yeah.
Right.
they're just, no, we need to just be honorable and just die.
There was a sub theme with the animals. You could kind of they didn't play on it a lot, but you could kind of tell through the end of the movie that the more the forest got destroyed, the stupider the animals were, and they mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a factor of that playing, that the humans destroying the forest took the spirit out of the animals and made them more into just dumb animals.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. He does mention that, like, he's like, yeah, my boars are all stupid now. Like,
Yeah,
the boar
exactly.
God guy.
Well,
Yeah.
and even Morrow was like, yeah, once the gods are gone, it's just going to be dumb animals and
Right.
game running
Yeah.
around.
So it's like it kind of like, in a way, it's foreshadowing to like actual modern day times where we know that animals, obviously animals aren't coming up to us and having a conversation. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Animals seem to be getting bolder and bolder.
maybe more trees are growing.
Maybe.
Mr.
Yeah,
Beast
you know-
planted enough trees, the animals can speak.
You know what, though? The one critter we're not talking about in this, the man who carried this whole show quite literally upon his back, Yakul the Red Elk. He took an arrow and was like, nope, I'm still going.
I was kind of confused about that because every other animal in it, like most of the gods, the actual giant animals could talk.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But all the other sub animals, like Mononoke could understand him and the other god spirits could understand him, but nobody else could.
I think it's because they're
So-
more in tune with nature or whatever. Like,
Probably.
because she talks to
The elk.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but he can't understand.
So at first I was like, the elk is just playing that smart animal role in the movie, but then like near the end I'm like, oh, he's actually just like an actual
just-
smart
yeah,
character.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He was the silent sidekick.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting that it's like they did an animal sidekick without making an obnoxious animal sidekick. It was like how like a person that like has raised a good horse will be loyal to you like right to the end.
Yep.
yeah, and that's how it acted. It acted like a real
Yeah.
animal.
What about you, Weez? You got anything to add to like overall thoughts, or do you just kind of agree with?
Overall, I did like it. I didn't super enjoy this movie actually watching it.
Really?
Partially, I wasn't really in the mood when I did have to watch it. And then it was kind of long, I felt. It felt a little bit like there's that Ghibli thing, like in Spirited Away, where it's just like the little like coal things, like the little spirits throwing the coal into the fire. You know, it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
little moment. It doesn't really matter overall, but it's like a fun like thing that happens. In this movie, there was also that stuff, but it was also alongside of a like intricate plot. So it did feel like they when he went to the mine town for a while, it felt like he was there forever.
Yeah, it did feel like it was its own arc.
Yeah, like I feel like partially the story would have partially it's just because I don't like movies that much. I think this would be way better as a TV show than a movie. Because you could have a whole arc of him going to these places and
Yeah.
having these adventures. Like fighting the samurai could have been more than just like 10 minutes. It could have been like a huge like thing that happened of how
Right.
of him like running from the samurai or whatever, or like fighting against them and helping these people and dealing with more of the conflict. And then by the end, it can make the ending more powerful with all the stuff that leads up to it. So partially it was just because it was a movie, and it's also like it's a long movie. But there's just a lot of stuff that happened that near the end I got a little tired of it. I was just like, it's just so long and just so much like it's also pretty heavy of a movie too. And I just wasn't really feeling like watching it. So I think that partially
I
was
will agree. It is a pretty heavy movie.
like it's,
It is definitely.
it's
If you
not
weren't
an easy
in,
watch.
Yeah, if you weren't in the right mood, like this would definitely not be a movie to watch.
Yeah.
Like you do have to be in a decent mood. I almost didn't. I watched it yesterday
Mhm.
of as I was recording, and I didn't. At first, I did not want to watch it because I was tired. I honestly just wanted to go to bed.
Mhm.
I looked at the clock and realized I was going to be up super late watching it.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I just got to do it. So I sat down and did it. And at first, I honestly, probably the first part of the movie, I was half watching it, half scrolling through Reddit. So I'm like, the beginning never matters, and then quickly,
The beginning matters.
Yeah.
like I think right after the boar fight, it got my attention. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, some stuff's actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
I will say one thing with the way like the possessed boar at the beginning, the way it just like melts. It's like I thought that
It's-
was gonna set the whole tone. I was like, oh Lord, this is
I
gonna be
did too.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
it was all gonna be like
creepy,
those type
yeah.
of monsters.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting movie. I think it's probably either the best or the second best made of all the Ghibli movies we've
Yeah.
watched. It felt like the plot was the most coherent, and like the situations that happened. And it's cool seeing different styles because it's fine having a story that's like Spirited Away, where it's all just like there's nothing really super concrete of what's happening.
Yeah.
There's no like political problems or whatever. It's just like her going through this spiritual world where all the rules are made up.
Yep.
But in this world, it's like there are rules and there are like things set up that build the world and make it all very concrete. So the story is very like, this is what's going on. And I think it's interesting. I do feel like there could be more. I guess the ending I feel like wasn't the best. I thought it was okay. It was pretty good, but I feel like it could have been more satisfying because it does feel like the samurai just kind of disappear out of the picture.
Well, they kind of did. They got wiped out by the
Yeah,
death spirit.
it does just
Yeah.
feel like they killed the god, and then it just kind of solved all the problems immediately.
I kind of disagree with that a little bit. I
Yeah,
feel like
'cause most of Irontown got killed by it too.
well,
There was a small
there
group
was a
of
small-
people.
There was a small group. Well,
Well,
most of
most
the
of-
men got wiped out. Most of the
Yeah.
women, some of the women got killed.
I
I
think
kind of
just-
disagree in the fact of it felt very final, but
Mhm.
it had that classic thing of we're not going to give you an ending because we don't want that. We want you to imagine what happens after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it kind of felt like.
I just feel like without the samurai in the story is exactly the same. Like there's some,
Yeah, they were
there's
just
some
kind of there.
events that happen that like the samurai are part of, like why he goes and chases after them when they go into the forest or whatever. But it could have easily just been him going after them because they're trying to kill the god.
I think the reason they
whatever.
did that is because you already had like the aspect of the idea of like nature has its threats all through it, you know, like with the wolves
Yeah.
and the boars and stuff. And I think the reason they did that is they needed a human element. It was like, well, in the human world, you have this, you have war, you have
Yeah.
greed as
Well, and
the
it's
threat.
also it kind of shows the era
Mhm.
because there's just
It
bands
does,
of
yeah.
samurai leaders that
Yeah,
were just
just
like,
war-
we want
And-
your ore.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
makes sense, and it's usually I usually like it when they don't make every single thing connect perfectly
Yeah.
to the end of the story. But it did feel like the samurai were just there. They really had no purpose.
They were the tension plot.
They were just kind of there, and then the spirit god like wiped everything out anyway, so it wouldn't even matter. Like I don't know, it just felt kind of fine as an ending to me.
Yeah.
I didn't super enjoy the ending.
I think Ghibli films, to me, have a hard time ending things.
yeah.
Because they
Because-
ramp up everything.
Well, they build up to, like, even in Ponyo, my least favorite movie so far,
Mm-hmm.
they still have this expansive
Yeah.
world that they build. And anybody knows that whenever you build something this in depth and expansive, you just don't want it to stop.
Yeah.
And then the ending is just like, do you love her even though she's a goldfish? And he's like, yes, I love my goldfish.
Yeah.
And it was like, you passed the trial. It's like, what?
But even like Princess Mononoke, like, endings just like Ashitaka Tada? I'm gonna always just
Ashitaka.
Ashitaka.
Yeah.
I almost had it right. And then Princess Mononoke, they're just talking to each other. Mononoke is just like, I love you, but I hate everybody else. So I'm still gonna live with the wolves.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
That
I
was
honestly was
interesting,
expecting
yeah.
the fairy tale ending of those two
Mhm.
getting married.
I did like that. Like, she
Yeah.
still doesn't like humans after all of this. It's
Yeah.
not like she's completely changed.
Well, it kind of killed her god, her
Yeah.
mom, her friends.
I was also kind of wondering if they would actually kill the god. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't because it felt like she would kill the god. So I was kind of hoping they would
well,
break it and be like the god just like takes the bullet and it's just like lull and
Yeah.
gets away.
I think the reason why they did it that way is one, this was supposed to be set in basically Japan's era of like basically the equivalent of England's Arthurian age.
Yeah.
Like it's this time of wonder. It's where gods and demons
Yeah.
and spirits walk alongside humans. And I think the reason they did what they did with like the forest spirit was basically it's like, oh, I just basically destroyed everything.
Yeah.
I have to pay for what I just did.
Yeah.
I think you're very much right about that. It feels like them killing the forest god would have been like in England's medieval time of somebody killing a dragon.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like. Although
does
there was a
make
lot
sense.
more repercussions of killing the god, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I did like it. I just felt like there could have been something more with the samurai, like some kind of. It didn't feel resolved. Like it just felt kind of like that
yeah.
happened.
I don't know. I have the opposite thought. I'm actually glad they didn't focus on the samurai at all. I'm just kind of glad. I like the fact that they were just that roaming band of bandits that you
Yeah.
see pillage one town and then kind of try to stop because the Iron Town had like multiple times where they were going through the pass of the mountains.
Mhm.
The second time we see them, the first time they were fighting the wolves.
Yeah.
Second time the samurai bandits try to stop them, take them
Yeah.
over. And the third time we see the samurai is when they find out that all the men are gone from Irontown and they raid
Yeah.
Irontown.
Because
Yeah,
at first they like send a message and they're like, "We want your,
I
here's
think-
a message for later Eboshi," and they're like, "Oh yeah," they shoot at him. And
Yeah, so
I-
that
I think-
kind of makes sense.
I think if they would have went any further with the samurai, it would have actually been that classic case of most films now, where it's like suddenly you have like 3 split stories.
Nope.
yeah,
I think it's the opposite effect that we had with Howl's Moving Castle. We wanted to see we didn't care about the war.
yeah,
But we wanted to see the
We
repercussions.
wanted to see we didn't even really care about the war. We just want to see more between Howl and Lisa.
main girl.
yeah,
Main girl.
whatever her name was.
I think it was Lisa, but I feel that's just wrong. It sounds too American.
Lisa is Ponyo's mom, or not Ponyo, Sosuke's mom from Ponyo.
Is it?
Yeah,
Then what?
I don't remember what
is-
her name is.
But,
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Their
In this
relationship.
one, there's multiple factions that somewhat should matter, but then the samurai. I kind of get what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
you feel like the
I
samurai
feel
should
like
have
you
more.
could take the samurai out of the movie and make it shorter, and I think I would like it more
Okay,
because they
I
literally
can see that.
did nothing. I just feel like it was a little bit too much crammed in because it was hard to care about half of the stuff that was happening because there was so much going on.
I liked it because it kind of added to the chaos of everything.
Yeah, I do like. I don't dislike it in theory. I guess I just dislike it because the movie felt super long to me.
I think you just didn't want to watch the movie.
That's probably the main complaint. I feel like if I watched it a different time, I would probably enjoy
Yeah.
it more. But
That makes sense. I mean, everybody has times where they kind of, especially in this line of work that we're getting into.
yeah,
There's some times where just not wanting to watch a movie might affect things. too.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really want to watch it last night, but once I got watched, I'm like, this is good.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
the same thing. Like, I didn't mind staying up late after that. I was actually looking at the time, like, there's got to be another hour to this, right? Like,
I think it was right around the time where the samurai are like sending messages that they're gonna attack, and everyone is like the big boar battle is going on. It was like right about then, near the like last half of the movie, that I was like, "Is this gonna be over soon?" It just felt like so much had happened, and then it was like it just kept going, and I was kind of ready.
Queez is just like, all right,
Like,
got enough here. Just put a sequel.
yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking it would be really funny if it like ended at a moment of like her just about to shoot the god and then just said, "Watch Princess Mononoke 2," and then just they never made a sequel. That would be the ideal ending for a Ghibli movie.
I did find, because, like, the internet, I did find a funny thing on the internet. I was looking up facts about Princess Mononoke.
Mm.
Of course, on Google suggested, they're like, Princess Mononoke 2? I'm like, I'm just going to click on it and see what pops up. And on the Ghibli community page, somebody asked if there would be a 2. And somebody replies with, Sen Mononoke had her mother killed most of all of her friends killed, a forest wiped out around her. Do you think she wants to bring a child into this world?
I seen one too. It was kind of funny because Sen Mononoke, all through the thing is I hate humans, I hate humans, I hate humans. I'm a wolf,
Yeah.
not a human. And then I seen like in the Google search thing, so I was just looking up stuff there, like the irony of Princess Mononoke. She lives with the wolves, but she wants to be humans. Like, you never watched this movie before,
Yeah.
obviously.
At first, I
Shit.
thought it was going to be kind of like a Pocahontas type thing, storyline. Like, you know how like you have...
No, this was just Druid Barbarian meets Ranger Fighter, and they get along, but they hate everyone else.
Yeah, this really felt like a video game. Like the main character was like 100% video game protagonist.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mononoke actually is kind of that. Actually, her character fits a depiction of a wolf, because wolves can be like, "Hey, this one human saved me once before. I like this human. I don't like the rest of
Yeah.
them."
I also like how the main character was basically like the "you are a toy" thing from Toy Story to her. It's just like, you are a human.
That was pretty cool.
But
And,
technically, she wasn't, because her mother, the wolf god, was like, "Yes, I took her soul. She's neither human nor wolf."
yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting too.
My poor, ugly, beautiful daughter.
Yeah, that was an
Honestly-
interesting line.
My favorite character, honestly, in the whole show was the wolf god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the way with the dub they did her voice.
Mhm.
I liked her character because her character was, she was caring for like Mononoke, but she was like extremely protective
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
everything. She had wisdom, but yet at the same time it was also like clouded with like kind of prejudice and
Yep.
anger.
I think this movie came out in English before Disney got the rights to publish them. So it wasn't a Disney cast, but it had a pretty good cast of English dub. And I have to give it to them. In a time when dubs were very much black or white, either you had a really bad dub, or you had a really good dub. This one they did good. The sound design, the voices, they made the voices actually fit in characters.
Well,
Like
some-
the
Yeah.
Wolf Princess or Prince, the
I
Wolf
s-
Queen.
Oh yeah, Moral.
Like when she talked, there was like a growl behind
Yeah.
her voice, and like when the boar god talked, you could kind of hear like that.
Like the squeal.
The
a little bit with it.
squeal.
Yeah.
Like all the human characters, that like if they were outside, it sounded like they're outside. Like
Yeah.
for in the 90s, the sound design was good and the dubbing was good. I really enjoyed it. And I was kind of worried at first because I was like, this is a 2-hour movie. Am I really going to start watching a dub of a...
Oh no, they are
Yeah.
attacking the forest. I am not putting any emotion into this.
Right. Just basically
Is this danger?
copyright free gunshot sound in the background. Like I was afraid of that for a second. But then after like the narrator.
Yeah.
What is his name? Oh, the narrator guy was so
Epic
good.
voice, dude. I don't know. They
Uh,
had lots of good voice actors. Like Morrow was voiced by the actress that played Scully in X Files.
Yeah, that was really
You were
good.
telling me Billy Bob Thornton was in.
Yeah,
this.
Billy Bob Thornton, John DiMaggio. What is the character that played the voice?
I watched it in Japanese, and the
How
Japanese was good.
I mean, that's pretty easy. That's not a hard thing to overcome.
Well, we say that probably over there, like cringe.
Actually, I heard somebody say before that like they don't really have that same problem.
No.
Yeah, because their voice actors actually have to go to school.
Yeah, the voice acting thing there is pretty.
The
Oh.
voice actor I'm talking about is Keith David.
Huh. I did not know that.
What?
Lady Eboshi is voiced by Minnie Driver.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Didn't see that coming.
But no, Keith David, he plays characters like the Arbiter from Halo series and stuff like that. He plays the president in Rick and Morty.
Yep.
But like
He's
as a narrator
Played
and the
in
board god,
so
he's
much
really
stuff.
good. Yeah. I just enjoyed voices like that. And then
Yeah.
Will Smith's wife
Oh, Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah,
Yeah,
played
it
one of
was-
the village girls.
Was one of the village
Oh, really?
girls,
That's
which
funny.
was interesting.
Was it
Kato?
Keto?
Keto?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of the ex-prostitute girls.
Oh, was she the main one?
yeah, the
the
main
wife
one,
of-
the one in the red.
Yeah, the one that's like, I'm alive, and she's like good for nothing, worthless.
Yeah, exactly. The one
She
that-
was a good character.
I
She
like
was
the
funny.
character. I like all the characters.
Yeah.
But no, I was just really impressed for it not being the Disney production that is still really good. So
Yeah.
It makes me really excited to like. I like the Ghibli movies that we've watched so far, but it makes me excited to watch some of the older ones.
yeah, like we really need to watch like My Neighbor
Totoro.
Totoro.
Yeah.
I want to watch that, and I really want to watch Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah,
I read the manga all the way through, and
Okay.
it's going to be in the same realm as this. So it's dark. It's very dark,
Okay.
but I'm hoping the production is like I think it's a little bit older than Princess Mononoke, but I'm hoping the production is still going to be to scale. And I want to see Tales from Earthsea as well.
Yeah. Well, cool. Any other quick like details that we want to add, or
No, I'd say the only complaint I have in the whole thing was the ape tribe seemed like they were going to be a bigger thing.
It's
and
kinda
they
weird.
kind of just faded
Ape-
out of
yeah,
existence.
the ape tribe or like the samurai?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both were just kind of there.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were going to be more of a threat to the main character because when
they wanted to eat him.
yeah, when he left the village and he passes out after being shot, Mononoke has to protect him because they're like, we need to eat the man thing so we can gain his knowledge and fight the humans.
Yeah.
And then you never see them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last time you see them, they're just like, "Oh, this isn't going well. We're depressed now."
Yeah, that was.
They
like,
They were
"Oh, no."
terrifying though at night when they're just these shadows with red eyes.
I thought they were evil spirits at first.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like when she shot on the hill.
Yeah, you just see these things like all
Yeah.
over
It
the
reminded me
hillside.
of Made in Abyss because there's those. They're like those that are in that area, that
Yeah,
one
yep.
area, and they throw stuff at them. Yeah,
But yeah,
give
I
me
mean,
those vibes, and those things are freaky.
so overall, I give the film. I want to say 10 out of 10, but I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I don't think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as a perfect film?
Yes.
I mean,
You say-
Evangelion exists.
I
joking.
was
I'm
gonna say I was
joking.
gonna kick you if you said Evangelion.
Raiders of the
joking.
Lost Ark is widely considered a perfect movie.
What? Okay,
What?
okay.
Yeah.
Quick side thing. Indiana Jones doesn't even have to be present in any of the movies for them to matter.
It doesn't matter. It's considered a perfect movie. Also,
Interesting.
it's totally fine that it doesn't matter. It's just an adventure with Indiana Jones.
This is just a
Not
guy
about the
with a
setting.
cursed demon arm that can give people and
The movie would be totally different if he was. Well, yeah, it would be totally different if he wasn't involved.
Anyways,
Mostly.
what do you guys think for a rating?
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Still pretty high. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think overall we think this is a really good movie. Obviously, it's from 1997, so if you haven't seen it yet, you probably should before you croak.
I think it is better than Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo.
Yeah, I think my overall list of Ponyo
Ponyo.
of Ghibli films is number 1 is now Princess Mononoke, 2
really?
Spirited Away,
Nice.
3 Howl's Moving Castle, and then 4 Ponyo.
Yeah, Ponyo and Howl's Moving Castle were more, I feel like, they weren't really so much for the story. They were more art spectacles.
It felt that way.
Yeah.
That's very much what they were kind of meant for. Ponyo definitely was just like, let's just let our artists show off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Ponyo felt more like a slightly disappointing story, and Howl's Moving Castle felt like a disjointed story.
Yeah.
And Princess Mononoke felt like a long story, and
Tolkien
Spirited
got his
Away
hands
was
on it.
vibes.
Yeah, it was a vibe. This movie was almost a vibe, but it definitely has enough story to like.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of story and politics and stuff.
You
so-
might be pretty weirded out if you watch this movie pretty high though.
Probably, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Probably start freaking out at the end of the movie.
Yeah, probably, especially after the giant goop demon.
Well, looking out your window, like, is a goop coming here yet?
It's just a tree on your lawn.
Just staring at a tree. It's just like any minute now.
You just look at grass.
But would definitely suggest it. It's honestly, I mean, a lot of people probably would disagree. I'd say for conservationism, it had a pretty good message.
Yeah. It
It wa-
wasn't like,
it
how
wa-
dare you use the environment. It was just like, respect the environment.
Yeah.
It's just like, why don't you just not level the mountain?
Yeah.
You can get the iron. You just don't need to obliterate the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. Because I honestly, I get tired. Like, I'm not a fan of industrialism by any means. 'Cause
Right.
I've seen like the damage it does to people and animals. I mean, after like a certain incident in one of the states, it's kind of a prime example of it.
We don't talk about Ohio anymore.
No, but I mean that's a good example of it. But it's like it's neat seeing something that isn't just the typical message of the only way to protect the planet is if we're gone. Like
Right.
this is also for us and for everything that lives out there. So it's like just figure it out.
Yeah.
It also didn't totally portray the forest as good guys either. Like,
No,
they were
it-
rageful.
Yeah,
and
it
like,
portrayed nature for what it is. It's beautiful, yet it will kill you.
Yeah,
And that's why you need to respect it because it will obliterate
yeah.
you.
Well, it's like the animals never, as far as I could tell, the movie never portrayed it as the animals killed people for no reason. Like,
No, they were just protecting their
Yeah.
home.
so like, obviously, I think the animals were like the wolves probably did eat people once in a while. But,
Yeah, they're wolves. That's what
yeah.
wolves do. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're a giant talking wolf, you got to eat a person once in a while.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Do you?
I mean, if I was the person about to get eaten by a wolf, I might. But anyways, yeah, I think that was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
With that, that's the end of the show.
Studio Gibbs.
Studio Gibbs, another great one from Studio Gibbs.
Another great movie from Studio Gibbs.
Studio Gibbs pulls it off once again.
No.
Anyways, thank you all for listening / watching to the pretty pictures go by once in a while. With that, we'll see you all later. Check out our podcast and check out Weeze's fancy YouTube channel that he's now making money on.
Woo!
You can find all those in the description and on our YouTube page. So yeah, see you all later.
Ciao meow.
Have a good night and morning. Goodbye.
Bye.